What is up, homies? My name is Felix, and welcome back to another video. I have no idea what this sounds like because I don't have headphones on. What is up, homies? My name is Felix, and I am here back again with another video for you all today. This one here today is going to contain some very valuable information, some secret sauce, if you will. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to develop your own unique style as a music producer, musician, whatever you want to call yourself. Not many people know this, but this is something that I actually struggled with for quite a while when I was kind of first starting out. I was so concerned with I gotta develop my own style. I gotta do something that's unique. I gotta stand out from everybody else. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are trying to figure that out as well. So today, I'm gonna show you. Make sure you guys go check out my Instagram because there's gonna be some very big projects dropping in the next month or so. And I'll be giving you guys updates on there. Also, the playlist of songs I produced, Beat Store, Discord, all that stuff will be down in the description. Go check it out if you'd like to do so. And now, let's get into this video. So before we dive into the tips and advice that I'm going to give you for how to develop your own style, we need to kind of define what exactly does that mean. So the idea is that when somebody hears your beat, they hear that beat and they're like, oh yeah, that is a whatever your name is type beat. That's a Greg type beat. You want people to hear a beat or a song or whatever and immediately recognize that that's you that made that. And when we think about it logically, what are some of the things that makes us think that about other artists? So one that I can think of off the bat is Jay Dilla. When you hear a Jay Dilla beat, you're like, yep, that's a Jay Dilla beat. And why is that? Because of his drum selection, because of the way it's made on his MPC, because he didn't used to quantize any of his drums, because of the sample selection. All that stuff comes together to create his own unique style. Your own unique style is everything, all of the different elements and instruments and playing styles and stuff like that comes together to create your unique sound. At least that is how I would define it. So it's not going to be one individual thing that you do. It's not going to be one drum that you use all the time. It's going to be a lot of different things that create a unique style. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but for now, we're going to get into some of the tips that you can use to help develop that said style. So tip number one is a general tip that I give everybody seeking music advice. Listen to a ton of different music. When you start listening to a very wide range of different genres and different styles and stuff like that, you start taking inspiration from those genres, whether you realize it or not, and start making something that is totally unique. I remember back in the day, a few years ago in high school, I was walking through the hallways with my boy Cyruson. We were talking about music as we would do quite often, and I said to him, the only way to really make something that is truly new and unique is to listen to every single genre of music or listen to no music at all. Also, when you're listening to really obscure old music and stuff, you can find some cool samples that way as well, but that's beside the point. When you just fill your brain up with tons of different music, you get lots of different inspiration, lots of different ideas. So along the same lines as that, another tip I can give is try to take inspiration from just unusual places. So obviously a lot of you guys, you're here, so you're probably learning how to make beats, how to make music, all that stuff on YouTube, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with. That's exactly how I learned as well. However, though, if you're on YouTube watching tutorials and stuff, maybe watch somebody who makes tutorials on a genre that you don't even care about. Let's say you're a trap producer, watch like some dubstep tutorials, watch some house tutorials, stuff like that, and you'll be able to learn a lot of techniques about different genres and stuff that you can actually apply to your own music. Same thing applies with the DAW that you use. If you're an FL user, watch somebody who uses Ableton, watch somebody who uses Logic. You will learn a lot from them as well. Also, maybe even branch out and try to learn from some more unusual sources. Lately, I've been getting a lot of like music books and stuff like that to try to learn from some books. Also, just try to take inspiration from the scores in the movies you watch, the TV shows you watch, even video games you play. Video game music is genuinely one of my favorite genres of music. And finally, even people. Try to learn from as many people as you can. Even, dude, just go to Guitar Center and ask the employees like, oh, like, is there anything you can teach me? Is there any advice you can give me? Also, if you play music with other people, you learn a lot faster and you learn a lot more stuff that you never would think. Never try to be the smartest person in the room. You can always learn more, always have an open mind. Doesn't matter if you've been making beats for 30 years or 2 months, you always have something new to learn. All right, so next up, another tip that I can give is stop thinking that you need to make a specific type of music. A lot of people, here we go with the type beats thing again. A lot of people think that they just need to make type beats. They need to make Ken Carson type beats. They need to make Playboy Cardi type beats, and that's how they're gonna blow up. Do you know how many other people are trying to do that? Stand out, do something different. Even if you're convinced that that's your lane and you need to make those Ken Carson type beats and whatnot, try to do it, but try to do something that's different from everybody else, because logically, you can't stand out if you're doing the exact same thing that everybody else is doing. Again, I don't have a problem with type beats or anything. I do the same thing. My type beat channel is kind of like as basic as you can get it. I don't really try to do anything crazy because I do the crazy stuff on here. this is where I do the crazy stuff. Just try to experiment as much as you can and just step out of your comfort zone. I've never really been a big fan of like dubstep type, EDM type stuff, but even I try to incorporate sounds from just all different genres and take influences from even electronic music and stuff like that, because there is good music out there in every genre that you can think of. You just have to find it. The more you experiment and you find out like, okay, this is something that I don't like to do in my music, this is something that I do like to do in my music, you're going to develop that style slowly and surely over time, because that is what your style is. It's what you like, what you don't like, what you're good at, what you are not as good at. So the biggest tip here, honestly, is the one that made the most difference for me, and that's to stop trying so hard and just make music. There was definitely a little while where I was very, very concerned with like, I have to develop my style. Like that was all I was worried about. Like I was almost more worried about that than just making the music and, you know, having fun making music, which is exactly the opposite of what you want to do. Honestly, it's better if you don't worry about that and you just worry about actually making the music, because let me tell you, when I stopped worrying about actually trying to develop my own style, that's when it actually started happening. Developing your own unique style is really not something that happens consciously. It's something that just happens cumulatively over it's something that just happens cumulatively over time after you actually spend a lot of time, you know, playing this instrument, doing certain things in your DAW, mixing your tracks a certain way, and all that stuff is just what adds up to create your style. And I kind of always had this idea of like, okay, my style is going to be like guitar melodies, or like my style is going to be the way that I sample like this, or like my style is going to be these type of drums that I use. And I was kind of talking about that earlier, but when you have that mindset, your style becomes a gimmick, not actually a style. Think about it. If you're using one thing and that's your style, how long can that really last? How long can you keep that up for? Just like any gimmick kind of thing, it's gonna get old. People are gonna get tired of it. And the same thing applies here. You can't just do the same thing over and over, because that's not really your style. That's just something you're doing over and over. All right, so this next tip is something that I wouldn't have told you 3-4 years ago, because I just hadn't really gone that far in my music journey yet. But spend your money on instruments, not on plugins. So I know right now some of you are like, whoa, man, that's a pretty crazy, pretty controversial thing to say. So let me clarify. There are plugins that you need, okay? You need some compressor plugins, some saturation plugins, you need some mixing plugins, reverb, all that kind of stuff. That stuff, you want that stuff for sure. However, what I mean by this is everybody's got Omnisphere, everybody's got Nexus. Well, I don't have Omnisphere because I'm not spending $500 on it, but everybody's got Omnisphere, everybody's got Nexus, everybody's got Analog Lab, everybody's got this and that and this and that. You know what they don't have? You know what not everybody has? You know what only I have? This guitar that I just banged on the TV tray. Personally, one of my favorite guitars. It sounds absolutely beautiful, and I am the only person in the world who has this guitar right here. Isn't that an incredible thing? Nobody has this exact guitar right here with these exact strings set up the same way, made the exact same way. And that, in my opinion, is a beautiful thing. The instruments that you use hugely affect your style. Even this exact same model of guitar, because obviously guitars are made in a factory and mass produced and stuff. Another one of this exact same guitar is not going to sound the exact same way because there's minor little imperfections and things that change, and also just the wear and tear and having it for however long and sitting in front of a campfire with this thing and all the little changes throughout your life changes how the guitar sounds and develops it along with your own musical style. If you're going to spend your money on something, spend it on instruments, real live instruments. And I know some of you right now are like, well, I don't know how to play guitar. First of all, boom, learn how to play guitar right there from this video. Also, it doesn't have to be a guitar. It can be a little xylophone. It can be some instrument that you played in band in middle school, saxophone, clarinet, whatever. It can be, you know, a triangle. It can be some bell sound, whatever it might be. And it's cool to have instruments and actual physical music gear that you can hold in your hand rather than just plugins. However, I do use plugins as well. And again, if you don't know how to play your instruments, you can always learn. There's always YouTube. There's always books. There's always whatever. I'm not very good at bass. I'm not very good at drums, but I still play them, I still learn, still get better, and it helps me develop my sound. Alright, so another thing here is do not be afraid to take inspiration from other people and whatever other sources that you want. I'm going to be 1,000,000% honest with you guys. One of my biggest inspirations starting out was Nick Mira and the whole Internet Money crew and all of them, and so I made beats that sounded exactly like them, and that was what I did for like a year of making music, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But once you learn more and once you get better, you gotta branch out from, you know, totally copying other producers producers or artists or whatever, people tell me all the time like, oh dude, I completely copied the beat that you made for this post-punk tutorial or this or that, and it's like, cool, I don't care. As long as you don't try to pass it off as your own, dude, do whatever you want. You bought FL Studio, you bought Ableton, whatever, so you can use it to make whatever you want. You don't have to worry about if you're copying other people's work, as long as you don't. This is big bold letters here, because I'm kind of saying this loosely. Do not copy other people's work and then try to pass it off as your own. Big bold letters. Don't do that. However, when you're just messing around on your own and trying to learn as a beginner, do whatever you want. All right, and this one might sound kind of corny, but stop worrying about the destination. Just worry about the journey. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. That's what I always say. That's what I've always said. Just now, I just said that. But seriously though, when you think about it, the destination in this case is when you have fully developed your style. And honestly, this is a big point here. Your style is never fully developed. If you're a good musician and a good student of music, you're always going to keep growing and changing and developing your music over time. You're never done with this process, which actually makes perfect sense to this point, because it's about the journey, not the destination. And for this, technically, there is no destination. So just worry about the journey, which is making music, absorbing all things, everything music all the time, so that you can grow and develop as a musician and just make music that's unique to you and have your own style that you can call yours. And finally, last but absolutely not least, I would say absolutely most important, is just have fun. Even all these tips that I gave right now, if they're stressing you out too much and you're too worried about developing your style and you gotta do this and you gotta blow up and you gotta blah, 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 forget all that stuff. Just have fun. That is what music is about. That's something that I've said before, but has even been put back into my perspective after working on the little top secret project that I've been talking about with my boy Zol. Just being there with him in person, playing music together, just messing around on our guitars and stuff really reminded me it's all about having fun. People get so caught up in the business and the marketing and whatnot. Have fun with it, because when you have fun with it, everything else falls into place afterwards. So again, don't get so worried about all the developing your style and stuff. It'll come with time and experience, and eventually people are going to be like, oh yeah, that's a Greg type beat. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for me in this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed making this video today, and I hope it helped you guys out. I know this video definitely would have helped me out when I was kind of struggling with this before. So yeah, once again, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys go check out my Instagram, SoundCloud, playlist of songs I produced, BeatSword, Discord, all that stuff. Go check it out if you'd like to do so. Be on the lookout for the top secret project that's going to be dropping in the next month or so, and make sure you do something. I don't know. And I will see you guys next time.